Wait for it, wait for it. Isn't technology wonderful? Who misses Sergeant Bash? I think we all do, don't we, really? Yes, welcome to Reactivated. Now, we start with another clip of something that happens during the third series, and can you tell me what happens next?
Pit of oblivion. Turning away. The Peter family had flirty-skirty.
Anarachophobia. Something happens to the driver, but what was it? The answer will be revealed shortly. Now we go on to our fantasy fight. That's right, we have another three-way battle that's about to commence as we reveal a robot. The first robot, which is Shark Attack. That's right, Shark Attack from Series 3, who didn't really last too long in the arena. Next we have Kilohertz. We're going very old school today. Kilohertz. And finally, let's see if there's anyone who will try and beat these two. We have Dantomkia. One-sided, do you think? That's up to you, for you to decide. Of course, I'll give you my opinion a bit later on. Shark Attack, Kilohertz, and Dantomkia. Who would win that one? I wonder who your money is on. Find out shortly. Our Pitstop Trivia this time is all about a certain X that appeared on the arena just after Series 4. And here's our inspiration. Here they are. Cooker and washing machine. That's right. We're going to be talking a little bit about the drop zone, but we all know what it did. Obviously it was properly invented and started its trail of destruction. It was invented for Series 6. It debuted in Series 6, but it was actually intended to start in Extreme Series 1. Because if you're very eagle-eyed observers, all you viewers who really did take note of what was actually on the arena in Extreme, there was the X for where the drop zone should have been. A lot of fights in Extreme Series 1 had the arena, had the drop zone on the arena. It was clearly marked, but no one gave any indication as to what this X was meant to be. There was nothing in the commentary for Extreme. Craig Charles certainly didn't explain what it was. So why was it there? Well, apparently it was due to be used, but due to technical difficulties, it meant it was abandoned until Series 6. And like I said, it was meant to debut in time for Extreme 1 and originally intended to have a button which robots could press, so similar to the Pit of Oblivion from Series 5 onwards, and then similar, of course, to the Disc of Doom, etc. But it just never came to fruition from Extreme 1. Technical difficulties. I wonder what that really meant. So there we go. The drop zone was meant to debut in Extreme 1. It didn't. It was postponed to Series 6. And of course, we all know who unfortunately landed on the X for the very first time. Robo Chicken in Heat 2 of Series 6. Poor thing. Now I'm just looking through here. It doesn't appear that we actually had a request in for bot build this week, certainly at the time of filming this episode. We did have one. It involved Tugbot. Sadly, Tugbot is no longer with us. It is now retired and resting in that big rusting place in the sky where all the other robots that we've destroyed beyond recognition are featured. Sadly, because Tugbot was, of course, in Series 7, its last appearance was in Series 7, and because Revolutionist kind of destroyed it, we couldn't really fix it after that, which means, of course, we have no bot build for this week. So if you do want a bot build for the next episode, do let us know. It doesn't have to be a robot, it can be an arena hazard, it can be anything you want. Let us know in the comments below. So we can now move on to a bit of fighting talk. Now, I do have a bone to pick, and it was a bit of a more frustrating than anything. We're talking about the grand final of Series 2. Now, some of you will know Grand finals were quite underwhelming throughout the series run. It kind of became a tradition, really. Obviously, series 6 and 7 were quite controversial, should we say. I want to go back, though, to series 2, because, of course, you had Panic Attack. Fine. Okay, it was probably the underdog going into the final. It was just a box on wheels, really. A little couple of spikes. As much as I love Panic Attack, I love the robot, I love the team. In Series 2, I don't really think it was a favourite to win. Cassius was the favourite to win, and it should have won. And it probably would have done, because Panic Attack had no self-righting mechanism. Cassius had the weapon, it had the style and the spectacle, really, to win. It just didn't get the flip in, and of course, a lucky push into the pit. Panic Attack won. Very underwhelming. I'd like to know what you thought of this final. For me, they could have replayed it, got rid of the pit, which of course they did start to do when Series 3 started. Got a lot. The pit was just not there at all for a heat final. Which is, they probably learned the lesson from the grand final of Series 2, because Cassia shouldn't have gone down the pit. So it's a bit of a frustration, a little bit of a nibble on the negative part of Series 2. There weren't many. There was only the grand final fight and the Sentinel for me that I could criticise for Series 2. So what do you think? Let me know. Should Cassius have won? Should they have got rid of the pit? Should they have replayed the fight? Let me know in the comments below. Keeping us warmed up. Thank you, Sergeant Bash. We do miss you. I hope people don't think I'm being quite negative this episode, because our merchandise memory this time, and I have tried to avoid reviewing this. I know I have done Arenas of Destruction, but I know some of you would like to know what I thought of Extreme Destruction. Again, it's a frustration for me, really, this. There was so much wrong with it. Was it playable? No, it wasn't playable. Was it full of glitches? Even more so, yes, than Arenas of Destruction. We also found, I'm not sure if you agree with this, with the lack of items, the lack of robot parts that you could actually create a robot with, just wasn't there for Arenas. I don't know what they did between games, but it was certainly a downgrade on Arenas of Destruction. The arenas were great, the pre-made robots were great, the competitions were great. They just didn't seem to focus their energy on the graphics and the actual mechanics and the physics of the game, because you just couldn't play it sometimes. It was so glitchy. Robots were going through the arena wall, they were being flown up into the air, and most of the weapons, the sound effects, just weren't on par at all. It felt very rushed, to be honest, and it is such a shame, because, like I said, this could have been such a good game. Now, don't get me wrong, we played it, we completed it, we had fun with it as much as we could. We enjoyed some of the arenas, Mars, and there was the aircraft carrier, the new additions, but in terms of the actual game as a whole, not very good. So overall, unfortunately, I give it Extreme Destruction 2.5 out of 5. Could have been so much better. It is a frustration. I was going to say something else then. We'll get on to the part now where I take some of your questions. Again, apologies if I don't get through to your question. We've had quite a few that have come in through the website and the YouTube channel. Our first one is from Deadsalot142. Thank you for your question, which is, out of all 8 of our series, so MLU4 series, which one was most fun to record? Good question. It's not been answered before. We thoroughly enjoyed filming Series 8. Everything about it, even the fights seemed like it was just fun. And we tried to get across how fun it was with some of the outtakes in the grand final episode. So check that 30-second montage out on the grand final of Series 8. Thank you, Deadsalot142. Next we have Tag Productions and William Warby, who've both asked if I've ever considered building an actual robot, and what would it be called? Yeah, good question. Remember there was a robot in Extreme Series 2 and Series 6 actually, called Revolution. It was a monster. It was this massive, it's like a meat shredding monster that just kept on coming towards you. So I would have liked a little bit more of a weapon like that, but better, faster, bigger, and I would have called it Decapitator. Just churning everything it came across him, a bit like a lawnmower or a, something that like a meat grinder that just chews everything it comes into contact with. So thank you both for your question. That's my robots for Series 11 of Robot Wars, maybe. Next we have the Bot Builder, which was my least favourite episode of Robot Wars. So this is actually from on TV. Out of all 10 seasons, episodes, let's break this down. Bot Builder, for me, it would have to be University Challenge. I feel quite negative this episode. I didn't mean to be at all, but for me, University Challenge episode was boring. Hope I don't get any backlash from that. Not many episodes I would consider boring, but when Behemoth went out in the first round, I don't know, the fights were just average, the robots were average. Obviously it was showing the work that the students had done to the robots, which was great. It was a great message. I tend to skip past that episode quite a lot if I can, so thank you Bot Builder for that. Next we have Daisy C from the website. What did you use to make Fog of War? Now this is a good question. Good. That's only meant to go on for 5 seconds. Fog of War is just your average smoke machine. The effect of it on screen and on the camera, it was a fantastic addition for our Series 8. But yes, just type in smoke machine into your search engine and just pick the cheapest one, really. There's not a lot else I can give you advice on for that. It works well. We love playing with it. So, thank you very much for your questions. There is just time for the What Happens Next that we showed you at the start of the show.
In the last wars, they were disappointed. Hang on, what's happened here to David Kingsbury? Dad's taken over. The driving.
The robot was alright, he wasn't.
I was sick in the carriage.
You were what?
Sick.
You were sick in the carriage? Were you, sweetheart? You feeling all right now?
Yeah.
Oh no, why?
Well, it's just nerves and the shaking of the carriage as well.
Yes, it was the little kid who was the team captain of Anorachophobia. He threw up in the booth. Can you believe? The poor chap. Obviously the nerves got to him and threw up. Very nice. We also had the fantasy fight, so we had Shark Attack, Kilohertz and Danton Kier. Right, so again, it's going to have to be the last robot who we drew out, which would be Danton Kier. Danton Kier, Shark Attack. Even in the third wars, the fight was over so quickly against Behemoth. So no chance for Shark Attack. Kilohertz would be the one who would pose the threat to Danton Kier, but even then, very minimal. Kilohertz, maybe if it was Terahertz, maybe put up a fight, but Kilohertz with the axe, because the axe was designed like a point, it would have just kept on getting stuck. Danton Kier, no problem. Flipped over and out the arena. So that is my thought on that. Let me know what you think. Does Danton Kier win?
Cease.
Well, I'm glad the cease has just gone, because this smoke machine, I think, is a little bit broken. So thank you all so much for contributing to this episode, your questions. Please share, download, subscribe, and I need to jump off and fix this machine. We will see you next time on Reactivated.